Hello, everyone, and welcome to the official first podcast of Raw Talk with Tanta Katie. This is my very first episode of the podcast that I'm going to be recording for you guys. This is an idea that I've been having for actually quite a while now, but I've reached that point in my life where I feel like now is the right time to go ahead and do this. I feel like many roads have led me exactly to this moment, to exactly where I want to be right now. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background about me. I'm originally from the US. I grew up in Washington State in a very small town there. I don't think I want to go ahead and disclose that information now because maybe at a later point. And I had done about 2 years of university after I finished high school. And then I decided when I was in the US that it wasn't really in my cards to continue with college and university because I felt the calling of traveling. And at that point, I was 20 years old. I was extremely naive, but I always had hope and trust in my future. And I knew that there was a bigger world out there. I had had a pretty difficult childhood, and no matter what I had been through in my life, I had never stopped dreaming. Even if the hope that I had was very small, I always had hope. And that's also something I would like to give you guys, for all of you guys listening, is that no matter what you're going through in your life, no matter how awful everything feels, that you are capable of getting through it. And I'm an example of that. So I had decided I wanted to do a year in Australia. My aunt and uncle were living there in a city called Canberra, and I was waitressing at the time. So I decided to save up all my tip money, and I booked a ticket to Australia for a year, and I did the work and travel visa program over there. But my first month I was with my aunt and uncle, very lovely people. They're from my mom's side of the family. And after that, I had made my way for 1 month in New Zealand, and I had met some people, and we rented a car and traveled around, and then finished up my trip in the rest of Australia, which all of this I can get to in later episodes. I'm just giving you guys a brief rundown here. And then after Australia, I had moved back home. I was a barista there for a little while. And then I booked a one-way ticket to Thailand. So I have my American passport, and during the time when I was home, I had also applied for a British passport. And the reason why I qualified to get a British passport is because my mother was originally from England. So when I had booked the one-way ticket to Thailand, my goal was to end up actually in Italy. I wanted to end up in Europe. I wanted to end up in Italy. I wanted to buy myself a Vespa, have fruit and vegetables, and drive around Italy and, drink wine and eat cheese every day. That's what I thought was going to happen. But 3 days into my trip, I actually ended up meeting my ex-girlfriend who was German. And yeah, so we had done some traveling around Asia. And then after that time, we decided between either moving to New Zealand or to Australia or to Germany. And I decided, let's go to Germany. And that's what we did. That's how I ended up here. Aside from the travel aspect, I am an individual who has faced many hardships in my life. I continue to face hardships every single day. I'm the furthest you're ever going to find from a perfect person. However, I do believe that I have a lot of insight on life experiences. I can offer a lot of inspiration. And I believe that we're all in a time right now where we need some hope, we need some love, we need some inspiration, and we need to be there for each other. And I really hope that by me starting this podcast, that I can give that to all of you because I have a very big heart. I have a lot of wisdom. I had a lot of life experiences. I have a lot of love to give. Why not share it? What do I have to lose? Honestly, nothing. So, I'm going to start with a little topic today. And the topic of this podcast is going to be when one door closes, another door opens. And I want you guys to think back on a time in your life where something heartbreaking happened to you and you were just devastated, heartbroken, looking back and thinking in that moment, why? Why did this happen to me? Why did this have to happen? And then fast forwarding maybe months, maybe years, maybe decades later, for everybody it's always going to be a little bit different. But looking back at the beauty in that door closing. I have recently faced a very big door closing in my face. And to be completely honest, about the first week after this door closing, I allowed myself to feel the feelings, to let myself process what had happened. Even though the feelings were extremely uncomfortable, I knew that in order to move forward, it was necessary that I grieved this particular thing. And another thing that I had decided in that time was that I was going to do this with as little alcohol as possible. Okay, there was some alcohol a little bit in there. I'll be honest with you guys. There was. But for the most part, I made the decision, okay, during the week, no drinking. Weekends, you can go ahead and drink, so that I kind of minimized the alcohol intake, because my personal opinion is that during traumatic events, yes, alcohol can be a temporary solution. I've done it many times. However, I personally don't feel that it is always the right thing to do. I think it's better to help yourself to move on, to let yourself feel the feelings, to get past it. And I want to tell you guys a little story, not too much. Get in depth about everything a little bit later, which is I had told you guys a little bit earlier in the podcast that I had moved to Germany for a girl, and we were together for close to 10 years. She was working here in Germany for the German Bachelor. She was working for the Warner Brothers company, producing the German Bachelor over here. So with her job, she was gone for, weeks at a time, sometimes 7 weeks at a time. And then in between, maybe 2 weeks to go see if the location that they were going to be filming at would be okay. Then she'd be gone again another 7 weeks. So maybe 3 times out of the year, she was gone maybe 7 weeks or something like this. Something along those lines. It's a little bit hard to remember exactly. And, for those of you who have a partner who has been gone for work for long periods of time, not everybody is cut out for that. And I will say, from my perspective, I'm a person where if we're in a relationship and I'm with you, and I want to be with you, and you're my the love of my life, and I want to do romantic things together. I want to have fun together. I want to spend quality time. but other people are okay with it, and some people get along with it just fine. So, for my girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, she was okay with being gone for long periods of time, and for me it was definitely a little bit harder. Um so she was filming The German Bachelor. Think yes, they were in Greece filming it. And I was in the US visiting my sister in Denver, Colorado. I had not seen my sister in 5 years because, life happens. My sister also had a job at the time where she was traveling a lot and, work. I had work, so we had made it happen, and it was very important for me to see my sister and, build a proper relationship with her and everything. And so I'm in the US visiting my sister in Denver. We're catching up. We're having a great time. She had taken me to many beautiful places in Denver. If you've ever been there, it's gorgeous. They have, you know, wow, the Red Rocks. The food is amazing. Let's not forget about the food. They have Aspen, which is close by. Okay, it's a little more expensive there. Not everybody can afford it. Definitely I couldn't. I think my sister and I had gotten kicked out of one shop there because they knew we are not the kind of people to be shopping around there. That's fine. It is what it is. Um, so we had come home. My sister had taken me actually glamping. I think it was like a birthday gift she had gotten me. Really beautiful place. I can highly recommend it. And we had come back that night. Power had gone out on the whole street where my sister lived. Her and her boyfriend told me that had never happened in the whole entire time that they had lived there. Power's never gone out, so we're sitting outside. There are little lawn chairs, drinking some brewskis. And I had received a text message from my at the time girlfriend. A text message implying that she didn't want to be with me anymore. She wanted to break up. And when I tell you that it felt like the sky was falling, it felt like the sky was falling. I felt like an earthquake had just happened, like the rug had been pulled from underneath me. I could barely see straight. We had our issues. I'm going to be honest. However, I'm a person, I believe, if you have issues with the person, that you can move forward. No relationship's perfect, so I thought we were going to get through it. The biggest problem was that she was gone at work. And so she had sent me that text message, and she had asked if I wanted to Zoom call with her. So we're talking. She's crying, I'm crying. Her face is showing how devastated she is. I'm just devastated, but I'm still holding my composure. I'm not yelling at her. I'm not screaming at her. I'm not telling her what the kind of person I think she is. I'm talking calmly with her and just trying to figure out what's going on. I remember I had asked her if there was somebody else, and she had told me no. So I came out of the room because I had been talking with her in the guest bedroom, and I came out and I told my sister, well, we're broken up. Everybody was in shock. My sister was in shock, and she said, I can't believe how quiet the room was. I would have expected a lot more screaming. And so that night I had gone to bed, and I just kept having nightmare after nightmare after nightmare that there was another girl. And I don't know what it is, if you want to call it a girl's instinct or what, but I just knew that there was somebody else. I felt it in my whole being, in every fiber in my body. I knew something wasn't right here. And I had asked her the next day, is there somebody else? She told me there is somebody else that she's working with that she finds very attractive, and that if we had had problems in our relationship, she wouldn't be finding somebody else attractive, but that this girl is bisexual and has absolutely no clue at all that my ex was into her. Okay. Few weeks went by. I was stayed at my sister's for a while because I called it the heartbreak sanctuary. I was laying on her heartbreak couch. I called it. It was the heartbreak sanctuary because felt like a little bird that was just lost its wing and needed to, come back to life, learn to fly again type thing. So I was just moping around, and she wasn't really writing me much. And then finally, I'd asked her again something about the girl. Then I found out she had decided to tell the girl that she was attracted to her. Well, after that, the girl also reciprocated the feelings towards her. And, well, they were, I guess you could say, an item. But, of course, a part of me didn't really want to believe it because I'm thinking to myself, this can't be real. I'm in a parallel universe, and maybe the world has just flipped upside down. I don't know what's going on. So at that point, I had a very important decision to make. Am I going to go back to Germany, where I had just finished 1 year of an apprenticeship there in hotel management, or am I going to stay in the US? Everybody was like, just stay here, just stay here. I said, I'm going back to Germany. I have 2 years left to finish this apprenticeship. 2 years left. And it's very important for me to finish this apprenticeship because I've worked very hard for it. Very hard. And it was important that she would have to face me and look me eye to eye. Now, during this time when I was with my sister, I remember telling her, I will never find somebody as good as my ex. I remember telling her that. I will never, ever, 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 ever find somebody as good as my ex. This was my first heartbreak. My first heartbreak. Her first heartbreak as far as as far as somebody you're romantically involved with, where the feelings are reciprocated. And my sister had told me a very good analogy. She said, that was my first relationship, so she had a great analogy, which rings true in my opinion. She said to me, Katie, think of it like this. You've eaten the same pizza for the last 10 years. It's been a cheese pizza. Do you like cheese pizza? Yes. However, you've eaten the same cheese pizza for the last 10 years. And what I'm going to need you to do is imagine that there's other pizzas out there that taste good. There's a salami pizza. There's the 4 cheese pizza. You got your meatball pizza. You got every chicken teriyaki pizza. You got a pineapple Hawaiian. There's all pizzas out there. She told me, don't give up in thinking that you're going to find another good pizza. I didn't believe it. I did not believe her. I didn't believe my sister. I really didn't. I thought, there's no way. I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. I'm going to buy a pair of Birkenstocks. And I'm just going to put a library in my house with a glass of whiskey and some cats. And I'm just going to build a pool in sorrow. And I didn't think I was gonna. So that was the door that closed. And that was a really big door for me. And one thing I want to tell you guys, for everybody listening out there, is there's moments in your life where you're going to have doors close on you. Some doors are going to be bigger, and some doors are going to be a little bit smaller. Some are going to hurt when they close. They're going to really hit you on the way out. Some of them won't hurt because you don't see it coming. But I want to remind you guys, it's going to sound corny, very corny, but when one door closes, another door opens. Now, when this happens, the first instinct that we all have is to stare at the closed door. We stare at it. And when that happens, you're going to be thinking of everything that was inside that door, and you're going to be romanticizing, and you're going to think of all the good things that were inside that door. Oh, it was so good. It was the best inside, and you're only going to see the good. But yeah, sometimes you also have to remind yourself of the bad that was also behind that door. And also, that door closing, that's destiny. That door was meant to close for a reason. It's going to be a waste of your time if you continue to stare at this door. If you want to give yourself a week, 2 weeks to stare at the door, do it. But don't do it any longer than that, because you're going to need to move on. The door is closed for a reason. And trust me when I tell you, that door is going to close, and there's going to be beautiful doors opening all around you. Maybe not directly, not in the first seconds. There's nobody going to be coming, your fairy godmother. No, that not. Could take weeks, could take years. But believe it. Believe it, and focus your energy really on moving forward in life, on moving to things that bring light and positivity to you. Try not to look back. But do feel the feelings. Do feel the feelings and the sensations in order to move forward. I can definitely recommend that. But don't focus your energy on that door, because there was nothing good behind there. It was nothing that was meant for you. And one thing that's happened to me, I think there's that famous line, I'm sure everybody here's probably heard it. It's, if somebody wants to go, let them. And that is regardless of if that's a person leaving you, if you're getting fired, if somebody, a friend says, oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Choose. Ciao. There you go. You can leave. Because you shouldn't be holding something in your life, a person, a job, anything, if they don't want to be there. Because here's the thing, if it's meant to be, it will be. If it's meant to be for you, it will be for you. If it's not, it'll go. And when it goes, that leaves so much more space and room for something beautiful to open up. And there is so much beauty and there is so much opportunity in this world. There are so many good and incredible people, and I promise you that. And never forget, there are more good people in this world than there are bad people. The difference is the minority is loud, the majority is quiet. Confidence is quiet, insecurity is loud. The minority, so the bad people out there, are going to be louder, and of course you're going to assume that they're the majority. They're not. They're the minority, and do not forget that. We're all together. We're all connected. There are very good people in this world. There are people who want to make a difference. Be vulnerable when you need to be, and don't be vulnerable if it's not the right thing for you at the right time or with the right person. So yes, that's a very important message with the door closing. And you know, when I did end up meeting my ex-girlfriend face to face after I was in the US, I had flown all the way back to Germany. It was a 11-hour flight. I had sat next to another gay couple. That was extremely uncomfortable because it was just bringing back memories. They were holding hands and lovey-dovey. I had just taken, I think, something sleeping pill to knock me out and a couple glasses of wine. And I was just like, let's forget everything. And then I had to take a train, and then I had to take a taxi, and then I saw her face to face. And I will never forget that it hurt her more that I believe the right word would be cordial. I wasn't yelling at her in her face. I wasn't screaming at her. What I was saying is, I wish you the best. I wish you the best in your life. I hope everything works out for you. I hope all your dreams come true. I don't wish any harm on you. I want you to be okay. Even though at that time, I was still in love with her, madly in love with her. It wasn't a perfect relationship, but I would have fought for her. And I think there's something to say as well about when a door closes. How are you going to handle it? How are you going to handle that? Are you going to go out with grace? Or are you going to be kicking at the door, screaming? Because at the end of the day, it's closed. You cannot open it again. You cannot. Leave it and move forward. Move forward. And find the things in your life that make you happy. I'm going to say it one more time. Find the things in your life that make you happy. And it can be the most simple thing, like going for a walk, playing Sudoku, playing on the Nintendo Switch, finding a 4-clover leaf, watching the clouds, cooking, talking to your friends. I highly recommend staying in a place where you give yourself the most self-care that you can. You focus your energy onto building yourself up. You remind yourself with your daily affirmations that you're a good person and that you're doing your best. I truly believe that 99.9% of us, that we're out here doing the best we can with the tools that we're given. And life is not going to always be perfect. It's going to throw a lot of curveballs at us. There's going to be some people that intentionally go out of their way to put stones in the way to make us trip and fall because they don't want to see us succeed. But you can't control all those things. You can't control the people that wish bad upon you. You can't control if you lose your job, or if you get broken up with, or if you break your leg. What you can control, or at least try to control, because we all know that controlling our emotions is not the easiest. However, the only thing you can try to control is yourself. Controlling your emotions, how you react when you get triggered. What can you do to be a more calm person in situations that upset you? And, never forget that you're loved. You're loved. Never forget that. And yeah, that was just a very important message that I did want to share with all of you today, because I believe in spreading some goodness out there. I don't know how the rest of you are all feeling. However, lately, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, but I feel a lot of goodness in my heart. However, I do have moments where I feel that this world is getting a little bit crazy, and it's a little scary, and it's a lot to handle out there. And my intentions with this podcast are to give hope to people, to remind you that you are not alone. I'm here with you. Even if I'm the only person out here with you, you got me, okay? And try and always reach out to somebody that you feel you can trust if you feel like you're going through a bit of a hard time in life. I want you to go ahead and reach out to that person and just have that connection. We're social beings. We need to have some connection. And I know it's easier said than done. I know it's easier said than done. Trust me. But have a few, even if it's one, have that connection. Do something that makes you feel connected also to yourself, whether that's meditation, yoga, spending time in nature, cooking, hearing a podcast, building also that relationship with yourself. But knowing there's hope out there, okay? So I would like to wish all of you a very wonderful and beautiful day. This is my first ever official podcast for Raw Talk with Tanta Katie. I would ask that you please like this episode, share it, and then also please follow me. If you feel like there's somebody out there that could maybe use a few words of encouragement, I would ask that you please share this to them. And just remember you're not alone, okay? I wish you all the best, and we'll talk soon. Bye.